Hello, this is Scott from boberdoo.com, and today we're going to look at our lead and call distribution software. With Boberdoo, you can track, route, and bill for all of your marketing activity, route those to clients based on custom business rules, and have all of the tools for automation and transparency in your business. To get started, we're going to take a look at the distribution logic for boberdoo.com. The idea of Boberdoo is that all of your marketing activity, web leads or calls, come into the system in a consistent format so that they can be routed out to different buyers. We work on an exclusionary basis, which means that when that lead comes into your system, whether it is a ping, a lead, or a call, we remove all clients that are not active. We remove all clients that do not have available funds, and we remove all clients that do not have a matching filter set. At that point, we're typically left with one or more matches. We then sort that based on the best revenue scenario to determine the winner, and we are only sending a response back to a lead seller once we receive the success response from the buyer. Going into the system, the first thing we'll take a look at is how to get leads into the system. This is primarily done through our API specs. We have a full suite of APIs here that allow you to communicate with the lead system. And the ping post lead API allows you to set up direct post or ping post into the lead system. And we have full instructions here, including mapping of the fields based off of the lead type and whether they're required on the ping or the post, field formats, and examples. Here we take a look at the lead system at a very high level. And the second way to get leads into the system here is through our form manager. The form manager allows you to build quick and easy forms, configure them, and then put them onto your web landing page through a simple div code. This reduces or eliminates the need for a web developer and allows you to manage that from within your lead system. The third way to get leads in is through our manual form. You can create specific users with permissions to this only in those use cases. As I mentioned, you can also route calls through the lead system. The Boberdoo UI allows you to build and manage and edit campaigns. We have several features related to call routing that allow you to better track and route those calls. You can order phone numbers through the UI, and Boberdoo is integrated with your Twilio account. So you don't have any premiums from Boberdoo on that usage, and you pay Twilio directly. And lastly, when we're talking about call routing, we do have an IVR manager. This allows you to build your own IVRs to better route those incoming calls. In this example here, which is a simple home improvement one, it's a two-step IVR, asking them their project type and then to input the zip code. We then take that information and match that to the filter sets of your buyers to determine to whom the call should be sold. Next, we want to take a look at tracking and segmenting those incoming leads, and that's done through our vendor source organization. So vendors are typically third-party lead sellers that you work with. You can create logins for them and customize the permissions and what pages they are able to see in that specific login. The next tracking variable is a very important one called source. It not only tells you where the lead came from, but it also tells the system what actions to take when a lead's come in from a specific source. You can create and manage your own sources and then apply specific rules like manual review, Lead scoring, which is a Boberdoo optional add-on that can be assigned on a source-by-source basis. Lead cost for reporting purposes. And then have flexibility in the maximum number of partners that a lead can be sold to. In addition, we have a lot of options for managing third-party lead sellers, of which these switches represent. So it's incredibly flexible based off of how you're getting your leads, including things like building in profit margins in a ping post environment. Now we are going to take a look at the other side of the coin, which is managing your partners or lead buyers. So just to recap, a lead buyer needs 3 things: an active account, available funds, and a matching filter set in order to receive a lead. In this Manage Partners tab, you have your account status, you have your available balance, and that can be in the form of a positive balance or giving credit to a lead buyer, allowing them to run negative. When we're talking about options for billing, there are a lot in the Boberdoo system. You can track the transactions of each client on a line-by-line basis and add manual account operations. Boberdoo has invoicing capabilities. You can build one-off invoice reports on a per buyer basis, or you can automate that process through the invoice manager, and that can be done on a weekly or monthly basis. We also have recurring billing options, so you can enter into recurring billing either on a time or a trigger basis. And we also have revenue share models. So the takeaway is that you can handle each client uniquely with regards to their billing and their lead routing. Lastly, they need a matching filter set. So you can see here that you can create multiple filter sets in multiple lead types so that you can get very granular in your lead routing and price out leads at different prices based off of the criteria entered by the lead. If we take a look at a home improvement lead type here, this will give you some idea of the options available. So the idea is all the criteria below must be met in order to sell a lead at $50. So things like sources, exclusivity, daily, weekly, and monthly caps. You can day part and also day part by price. There's options for things like requiring a lead ID token and geo specificity, either on a state or on a zip code level. And we have zip builders by both distance and county. We also have other filtering options that would be lead type specific, so that you can align the traffic that would be able to be sold to that partner at that price. Now we'll take a look at an inbound phone filter, which will look very similar. The idea here is you're going to sell a call for a specific lead price, and we have all of the options to make sure that your call routing is optimized, including this, which allows you to turn call tracking into call routing. Once we hit that ring timeout, we hang up on that buyer and dial the next available one in the queue. We also have things for running proprietary campaigns and whisper messages. And the rest of the filter set you'll see will look exactly the same as a web lead filter, so that you can route these calls accordingly. Looking back to that original IVR, that's where we had the zip, project, and then campaigns. Refunds are also a big part of lead generation, and we have a lot of different options. So you can set refund criteria per client, things like look back days, bulk refunds, and refund percentage limits on a client by client basis. And then there is a tab to manage all of your refund requests, decision them, and notify the client. Now we'll take a look at the Leads tab, which is a real-time view of your incoming leads. It's going to tell you exactly what happened on each lead that came into your system, and you can drill down by date range or filter by any of the variables in the lead type. Pings, posts, leads by specific sources or sold to specific buyers can all be exported through this page. On the page itself, you have the disposition, what happened to it, who it sold to, if it was post rejected, or if there were no available buyers. And then all of the columns in the middle can be customized by you on a user-by-user basis. We have several tools for processing, reprocessing, and editing leads. This is an example of our lead QC, which will score the lead off the data points provided by doing a reverse phone, IP, address lookups. We check the MX record. There's an internal bad word list, and then we check the US Census. Bad leads are held for manual review, so you can still process false negatives. And then we have a lead log showing the full decisioning and responses from all of your buyers on each lead. Lead types are autonomous, so here we're looking at the inbound phone, which shows those calls so that you can listen to the recordings, see calls that did not make minimum durations, and other important information. When we look at standardizing our analysis, we have our reports tab. There's about 60 standard reports per lead type. And you can run these on a one-off basis from this tab here. In terms of automation, we do have time reports. Take some of that onus off of your plate and allow those reports to be delivered to you via email or FTP on a periodic basis. Along those lines, we have full logs for things like lead rejects, lead logs, so that you can get the transparency you need in order to analyze your lead flow and optimize your business. Speaking of automation, our webhooks, which are included with your plan, allow you to set up notifications based off of trigger events that occur in the lead system. This is incredibly helpful for things like client management, taking that work off of your plate and automating it. And there's a lot of use cases for these as well. So this new lead match would allow you to use these magic strings to post data or to send emails or to post this to your Amazon S3 account for long-term storage. If we look at an email setup here, you can send emails to any of the stakeholders in the system, including the lead, and use these magic strings to populate the body of that email, maybe notifying the lead of the dynamic matching partners to their request. Now's a good time to talk about the data retention policy in boberdoo. We have a 30-day policy for keeping PII and sensitive information. We do a one-way encryption of sensitive information, and then we hash those values so that you still have tools and can research those leads after those fields have been deleted. We keep the remaining fields, those transactional fields, for 1 year in the lead system before they're deleted. But we give you the tools to send this data to outside databases if you have a long-term need for it. So we are integrated automatically with Amazon S3, so you can very easily populate your S3 bucket with each lead, including who the lead was sold to, where the lead came from, and all other relevant fields. We also have Facebook lead ads. This would allow you to avoid having to download the CSV from Facebook by mapping your Facebook lead form to the boberdoo lead type in your system. For those clients that are receiving third-party pings, we have something called bid experiments. This allows you to set up A/B tests for incoming pings and modify margin or price depending on your use case so that you can maximize your profit or optimize your lead buying depending on your use case. Each experiment can be set up and quarantined with a specific percentage of pings so as not to cannibalize all of the traffic. And we have full reporting to show you the results and statistical significance of each experiment run. We also have an in-house data scientist that allows you to dig deeper into that type of analysis. And we can engage on a one-off basis for those. Lastly, the system, as I mentioned, comes with unlimited logins, one of which is sales reps. It allows you to create a specific login so they can only see the accounts that they are associated with and run easy commission reports for payout purposes. This is going to be the end of the overview demo of the boberdoo system. Again, we took this at a pretty high level, and we're happy to drill down as there are thousands of different use cases that can be applied to our software. Thank you.